There's a place called a gin mill way down in the slums. There's a place called a gin mill way down in the slums. My baby goes that night and stays till the morning comes.
Yeah. We're in the boil right now, waiting another 15, 20 to add in our first round of hops.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna, so we're drinking some other beers. And Tom from Crazians, you brought.
Yeah, so it's our jalapeno cream ale. So we have two versions of this beer. In the fall, we have one that most people say I really like it, but I can only drink a pint. It's really spicy, really hot. We don't want to do that when it's 90 degrees out.
Right.
So, and Wayne here, your guest that you have here now, he samples our beers quite a bit. So I'll let him.
Speaking of Wayne, introduce yourself, Wayne.
Hi, I'm Wayne Horn, union member here at the factory, and
we've met you a couple times.
Brew connoisseur.
You were at the Madam Carroll with us, I think it was last year, right? And and having a good time on that one.
Absolutely.
Boom, it's canceled this year. Darn freaking
like everything
Corona.
else.
Yeah.
What do you do?
What are you gonna do?
What we can do is hope that next summer's better.
It will be.
Well, I think
and we got to make up for
It
lost
has to
time.
be.
Right?
Oh yeah,
It's got to be.
yeah. It was. I mean, the first year was fun enough as it was, and again, very.
We were
little,
talking about working out the bugs, but there weren't that.
There
many
weren't really
bugs.
that
It was
many
a great
bugs.
trip. It was a fun day, man.
Yeah, I mean,
nice.
it was really a different kind of brew fest.
Yeah.
And I was laughing. I was telling the story earlier of there were so many numerous people that came on the boat and they're like, I don't really like beer, and so the hard seltzer had kind of really picked up, and there's just these little old ladies going, I don't really like beer, but they're hanging out at Mullen's booth, because he had the fizzy lifting drinks or whatever. And I'm like, why are you on a brews cruise? Come on.
Yeah, we hooked them a little bit with our blueberry.
Yeah.
I was getting ready to say the same thing. The blueberry went over well last year.
Really
It
did,
was
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
And it was a beautiful day too.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
New concept. I was a little worried about a couple hundred drunk people on a boat. No offense. I mean, you got to just think about it at that point. And then,
Shore's close enough.
yeah. And then,
You got to consider that there's a lot of drunk people on that boat on a normal occasion anyway. So
exactly. Yep.
they're just not drinking good beer, typically.
and we were talking about the long pour that Mullins did. I think someone was he was hanging his head out the lower window, and
Yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
think there was a long pour from the second deck.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
He did a great job of catching it.
He did.
But yeah,
He's
so
good. He's a good catcher.
yeah, so
I love you, Jonathan.
That was not Tom, John. I'm just telling you.
That was Dougie Fresh.
So the jalapeno beer. So I'm gonna let you talk about our history.
So we love pepper beers. We have a history of pepper. I love heat. I'm a big heat guy, and I love pepper beers. Typically, jalapeno beers, I usually because they get too green and kind of grassy and a little bit too green and too green pepper flavor in
Almost
a beer.
bell pepper. I mean,
Yeah,
they're
that
very
doesn't-
vegetable-y.
Yeah, and there's not much heat behind it. And you did this one right. I was impressed, and I'm not saying that because you're sitting here. I would have just not talked about it.
That's great.
Came
Yeah,
up that- yeah.
We
Yeah,
actually
thanks.
decided
That
to
was
bring
good.
it back on. And
No,
talk about
because
it.
I think it's one of the most beautifully done jalapeno beers because it's got the earthiness behind it, but it doesn't have that overly powered green bell pepper flavor behind it.
It's just
And
It's still got
It
just
takes-
a little bit of heat,
it
but
takes
it's
a couple
smooth.
drinks, a few drinks, and you start to get that heat behind it. But he says the cream ale too, which I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that with a jalapeno.
Yeah. So we dumped a bunch of flake corn in this
Mhm.
one. I think you can taste it too. It's
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
little cream in there. I think
Yep.
that really meshes well with that jalapeno.
How did you prep the jalapeno, though? I mean,
Yeah,
that's
so-
where I'm curious because I think a
Yeah.
lot of them put too much, or they don't prep the jalapeno right. They don't take out some of the bitter of the interior part and just try to get the flavor of it. And they're trying to go for super heat, but it ends up being super green. How'd you prep the?
Yeah, so the way we prep it, we cut them in half, we clean them, we put them on our Traeger smoker for about 2.5 hours.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
And-
So at that point, it's a chipotle
Yeah.
or
So
what?
it's a roast. Yeah, it's a roasted
Roasted
jalapeno.
pepper,
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
that's the secret.
Yeah.
Because most people don't. They just take green jalapeno, cut them up, and
Yeah.
That's
Now our fall version, the jalapenos come from our garden, and we use what's called a jalapeno gigantica, and these things are about 6 inches long. And then we reintroduce the jalapenos again in the bright tank.
Oh.
So the very last keg that's kegged is like it's on fire.
Yeah, we got to try that one.
It's
Yeah,
on fire.
that sounds like that would be right up your alley.
Yeah, I love that heat and beer. There's just something about it that I think it works.
That's a DIPA. That's a DJPA. That's a double jalapeno.
No doubt. Yeah,
But no, I'm
this
impressed.
is on point. I think it's a beautiful beer. It's just
Yeah,
it's subtle. The pepper is subtle, but it's there, and it works. It's really
Wayne,
nice.
how-
And like I said, it's a mild heat, but it comes. You got to get a few drinks in. You start getting a little more of the heat.
I
And
just like how smooth it was.
just kind of warms your tummy a little bit.
with the heat that's in it, it's surprising how smooth it is.
Yeah,
And it's not brutal to the mouth.
No,
I feel
not
it's
at
just
all.
warm in your belly.
Yeah.
It's for me. It's warm in the belly. And I think you, Tom,
it's still a
you-
good summer drink.
Yeah, it's still a good. So you told me you're chasing the heat rather than the heat just smacking your face.
Yeah, exactly. When it's 90 degrees out, you don't want something that's going to make you sweat.
Yeah.
You want something refreshing, but you still enjoy that jalapeno flavor. It's like when you're having poppers and they're just over the top hot and you can't even enjoy them. And
Yeah.
it's no fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure. Well, I think you found the mark on this beer. For sure.
Yeah, no doubt.
And that's
Wayne
called
is
the Loco Hiroko.
Yeah.
Oko Hiroko, yeah.
So my mother-in-law is from Japan. Her name's Hiroko, and she's crazy.
Imagine that.
And that's really where
Two
our-
generations of crazy.
Yeah, that's really where the brewery name. So when Michelle says she's the Cajun, her mom will step in and go, "I'm the original."
She's the OG.
And then also with that, my daughter, her middle name's Hiroko, so she likes to say that's hers. So it's a whole thing.
All right, keeps it in the family. That works. Sorry, you were going on.
No, we only got Wayne for a short time. He's got some building to do. But as a beer connoisseur and a craft buddy that we have in the business, you spend a lot of time at Crazians, towns that you're in them quite a bit getting beer. You stopped there today to get some beer.
I did. I stopped over there today and I picked up a 4-pack of Supermoon IPA. I grabbed the Hopped Up Mess, which I love. I'm a hophead.
All right.
And the Honey Red. God, that beer's good too, man. That's another super smooth beer.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier in our show. We went on kind of just a honey trip around, and discussing different uses of honey and different kinds of honey brewers have used. So yeah,
It is a sweet beer, but it's not over the top to me. It's just like that's another beer kind of like this one where you just hit the mark right on that one. So
clean, easy drinking, and you can crush a couple of them without
for
a
sure.
worry.
Right.
Some of them are good, but they're one and dones.
Yeah.
And this is
Oh,
an
yeah.
easy one. No worry about one and done on that.
I
one.
find that some of the honey beers seem to be overly sweet.
Usually, yeah.
And
yeah.
and you run up the ABV too high on those, and then they get syrupy.
syrupy,
They get
yeah.
very syrupy with that
Sticky.
extra added sugar we were talking about.
Yeah.
But
you
he was
gotta-
talking about his process for adding to different parts of the boil and some of it, right?
And with those two, you really got to watch your attenuation and your fermentation. You can't cold crash that one too soon, or it will really off balance with the bitterness.
Okay. Yeah. So what the hell's wrong with my computer? All right, no, we're good. It just got. I started seeing waveforms go different, and I was afraid my computer crashed again.
Picking up some background noise.
Yeah, no, just we had some issues earlier, so
He was just scared.
like the power cord coming out, but whatever.
Oh no.
Do you have some other, Wayne, do you have some other maybe
Anything coming
summer
up?
favorite spots that you hit? You're from this, you live in Monticello,
Yeah,
right?
I am, but I'll tell you, with everything going on this year, I have not done much, and
Nobody has.
I do a lot of the festivals for Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't been out much.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with
Yeah,
you.
nobody has, yeah.
And but yeah, I hit brokerage quite a bit. I think
Yeah, they got some
Corey
great-
up there.
yep.
He does fucking phenomenal.
We stopped
job
in there.
too.
They get some great beers. Yeah, we were impressed by them.
He makes some pretty killer hazy IPAs.
Yep.
People's, I go there quite a bit.
Sure.
I
course.
have not been to the.
Escape velocity.
I have not been there yet. I need to do
I
that.
heard someone say that before.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Yeah.
escape velocity is.
I work at Caterpillar full time, and it's literally what
Where is it at?
half a
down the
mile
street.
away from Caterpillar on
Yeah.
52.
What city?
in
Lafayette.
Lafayette,
Oh, okay, in Lafayette. All right.
right by the Home Depot. On
Okay.
52.
It's close. Yes,
Close.
it's close.
All right.
It's on the other side of the intersection there.
Yeah.
Are they new?
Relatively
Relatively
new. Yeah.
new?
When
Okay.
they opened what? Maybe 2 months ago.
Oh,
within
Brand
the
new.
Rona.
They struggled really hard to get opened. I think they had a bunch of
Wait a minute.
issues with licensing or
wow.
something.
Yeah. So when the city of Lafayette come in to give them the permits, there wasn't proper firewalls and things that they weren't told at the beginning, and some of those things were like $50,000 fixes. So, they have struggled. I'm really rooting for them. Jason.
I said, do you guys know the brewers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Jason Bahina and his wife Heather. So they've got a restaurant there too that just serves
Vegetarian and vegan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They also have wine. Jason's brewing on the Blickman system as well, a 5-barrel system. And he's a really good brewer. They just need to catch a break. They've been in the school of hard knocks since.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah,
I
well,
did
that's
read something about them, and they were one of the breweries that was set to open, like March or whatever, and then then everything got shut the fuck down, and they were literally they still opened like maybe a month after that, but they've been battling it for like a year or two or something like that, trying to. I think I might have read about that one. Yeah, it just.
I talked to him briefly at Winter Warmer, and they actually didn't even bring beer because of everything that was going on with all the licensing and all that stuff. But they had planned on being there with beer.
Yeah.
And because of all that stuff, they weren't able to bring beer.
I'll have to check them out.
They showed up, and they talked to everybody and had stickers and some swag and stuff. But, I'm kind of rooting for them to do good,
We'll
too.
go check them out.
Well, we've seen a few of those. It's just a harsh time, like Chesterton, the Chesterton Brewery, up north. They had just opened up literally, and and then 2 months later, and you're just everything's shut the hell down. But again, as we go ahead,
I said that, but they're booming. So
and we've talked about the community piece of everything. It's I was expecting to see more, and it's still time will tell, but I was expecting to see more casualties. But surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
Communities rallied around local businesses as much as they could.
Craft scene, so it's nice.
I think a lot of that has to do with the size of the brewery, too.
Yeah.
I think some of those mid-level ones that were maybe getting a little bit ahead of
off
themselves.
where they could chew too fast.
Those are the ones that were the casualties.
Yep. Right.
The guys that stayed small and stayed true to the community followed them. They backed them up, and they were buying the beer, and they were doing the takeout stuff and keeping them afloat.
Yep.
I mean, I'm quite certain you weren't getting rich during all of this, but the community was supporting you enough that you could stay afloat for sure, right?
Yeah, so we have at Crazy, we have what's called the Coaster Club. It's like a mug club, but you have coasters, right? Okay. And that Coaster Club kept us alive through this. I mean, I would say 90% of our sales were local sales during that.
That's awesome.
No one was going anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Yeah.
I know here at Copacetic and scoreboards attached to it, they reacted quickly.
Yep.
And started doing the carryout stuff and had like basically a makeshift drive-through out here, and the community jumped on it, and maybe that's some credit to the community, but also to them. They reacted quickly, and they come up with some great food and beer combinations, and they did a good job here, and you guys did as well. I bought some beer, the online system that you guys set up for online beer. That worked great.
Delivery to my house. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had the whole touchless thing. So
I'd get
That's
off
awesome.
work, and I would swing through Brookston because it's on my way home, and just pull up, walk up to the window, and
Here's your beer.
Yeah, here's your beer.
And they experimented with the throwing it at you part, and that just didn't work out first. You
definitely got to be a good catch.
Yeah.
Roll down your window.
Otherwise, you're on a hospital visit, and nobody wants to go to the hospital during all this crap.
And that's what I'm actually having a good time about. Some of the new shows we're doing. The news can get you down about, just whatever. I don't care which way you lean, whatever, but the news can get you down about hateful, all kinds of crap. But if you pay attention to your local community, it's actually been pretty cool.
Yeah,
I agree. I think it's not a good thing to come out of a bad situation.
Yep.
To see
Definitely.
communities kind of rally was actually kind of awesome.
Yeah.
I would agree 100%.
But you got to focus. because there's some wider shit out there that gets annoying. But if you focus, you can really see the good in people that actually came out of some of this, which is pretty awesome. So.
Absolutely.
Well, boys, Tom's got some hot food in front of him.
Yep.
Wayne's got to go build shit.
Yeah.
Don't give Tom any more beers.
We have to build some beer. We got hops to throw in, so it's a good time to take a break.
I'm gonna go home and work on what I got to work on. Maybe I'll visit you guys later. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
Cheers, bud.
We'll be here brewing. Tom, thank you so much for
Thanks
coming
for having
by.
me on.
We will be there. We got to set up a show date at Crazians because we have to get there. Definitely love to get out there. So it'll be soon. So
thanks for having me.
Back to brewing.
Cheers.
If you're a craft beer guy who can't get it nearby, do yourself a favor and log into Taver.
Blind Pig Confessions is the greatest podcast there ever was. My name is Dave Smiley from WZPL, and if you don't listen to this show, you're dumb.
Hey, boys and girls. We are
still
back
a
from
brew day.
adding some hops to the...
adding a whole lot of hops.
A lot of hops, thank goodness.
That was a lot of hops.
Yeah.
That was.
3 pounds per barrel.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Significant.
Our Laurel and our...
Laurel and...
Cashmere.
And cashmere.
There we go.
Yes.
I was trying to
I
remember.
still think it's going to be well balanced. I don't think we're going to go nuts on anything. I think it's going to work well with that rye. And
How'd you feel on the little sample part you pulled off? Did you do anything
It's still
with that
sitting
yet?
back there. I haven't tried anything with it. But I'm looking forward to
Wayne said it
checking
was
the gravity and seeing what
Wayne said it was
comes in.
awful.
I did not say that. I'm still stuck on the thank goodness we added more hops part.
The color with the Cara 20 that we added, the 40, the color is the thing that I'm really excited about. I think it's gonna hit really nice. The color is beautiful, and the hops that you guys selected to throw into this with the rye and kind of adding the peppery hops.
Yeah,
it's going to work.
These are hops that I don't use very. I've never used Laurel before, so I'm excited how this goes.
Good deal.
So I know we've been doing this all day. I'm interested how the editing.
It's
goes
a
into
piece of cake.
Actually, there is no. There's
it's
really
gonna be
the only thing he's going to do for editing is add in drops and commercial and like a commercial break.
Piece of cake.
So over the course of us taking a little break to do the hops, grab a bite to eat, and whatever, we've got a new brewer
we've had some
in the
good
area.
friends popping in, and
It's Brewer Day
So
over
we've
here.
got Steve Miller, brewer in Chicagoland at Hailstorm Brewery. He's got a spot here in Monticello that he frequents over the weekend. Thank you for joining us, Steve.
Happy to be here.
What an awesome intro.
And we've met each other, I would say, about the time I opened this, through like Mike Palin and Hambride. We've kind of met each other digitally, and we talked about potentially doing a collaboration together a couple weeks ago. Luckily, we both said, no, this week is too much. It was after I dropped the beers off at Indiana Beach, and we were heading into our 3-year anniversary party, and it was just too much.
way too much going on.
We're still going to do this.
Absolutely.
And we talked about doing the lemon meringue like pie beer, like
Oh, nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Do a
Oh, yeah.
hazy pastry beer.
hazy pastry beer. So
I like it.
I want to just kind of, since we've been talking all day and working
Sure.
together, give us the lowdown, Steve. Tell us about you.
As a podcaster, that's the worst thing to say to a guest. Hey, tell us all about yourself.
That's why I'm
Go.
a brewer. I'm not a podcaster.
So, Steve, how long you been with Hailstorm?
2.5 years.
Awesome. Excellent.
Out of Chicago, right?
Yeah, south suburbs.
I can't remember the.
What was it?
Where specifically? It's a Chicago area, but at Trinity.
Tinley
or some-
Park.
Tinley
Tinley
Park.
Park.
Tinley Park. That's what
So
it was.
southwest suburbs. We're right by I-80. Easy to get to. We're by the Midwest Amphitheater or whatever it's called now. The Tweeter.
Yeah.
The First
How's that?
Midwest.
How far is that from here?
Hour and 45.
Oh, that's not bad. Still from Monticello. It's
No.
Still not bad.
Not at all.
I think our buddy Ernie brought some Hailstorm to one of the home shows we did in South Bend,
Yeah.
and I can't remember which one that he
Well, that's
brought
'cause
in,
it-
but
especially if it was hour 3, then we don't
Might have
remember
been.
any.
But thank you, Ernie. But so I think that was the first time I had been introduced to Hailstorm. But tell us a little bit about the brewery and how long it's been there, kind of history behind it.
This year will be we just hit our 7th anniversary, I believe.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Sixth. I'm sorry, sixth. And so we obviously didn't celebrate it this year due to
We celebrated, just not. Yeah.
Oh, we celebrated ourselves.
all those pesky customers, whatever.
We weren't able to have a big party for it, but we've been around 6 years. We have a 15-barrel brew house. We can primarily most of our beer. We're available all over Illinois, as far south as Peoria. And
there's a sign in Monticello. I think it's like 120 miles from Peoria. For whatever reason, there's a sign in Monticello. Peoria, right?
Is there a hailstorm sticker on there yet?
Not yet. Not yet. No, we'll get it on there. I'll take care of that.
But yeah, that's
How long
us.
have you been brewing? Because again, so we both know Mike Palin, right? He's an interesting kid. He helped start 18th Street with Drew Fox. That's how I met Mike, was through the opening of 18th Street. And he said during the opening of trying to get 18th Street open, he said, I want to open a brewery myself that's surrounded about music, and I love Jordan shoes, and he went on this whole thing. And then as soon as 18th Street opened, maybe it was 6 months later, Microphone opened. I got a lot of respect for Mike Palin and what he's doing, but I think that's a commonality we have.
And there's a little synergy there. So I used to own a brewery in Chicago before coming to Hailstorm years later. And Mike was our head brewer and started Microphone out of our brewery. So it was part of the arrangement we had was like he'll brew our beers, but he can also brew Microphone
Do his own
beers.
thing, yeah.
So that was back when we were packaging beer in 24-ounce cans. We were the only people in the country doing it. Just because I got a really, really good deal on a 24-ounce canning line. So it's like, all right, dude, this is what we're doing.
No doubt.
So yeah, me and Mike
You better make a bunch of beer.
Yeah.
Way back. I mean, that's
So,
almost.
I've been brewing professionally for 7 years. Met Mike like 7 years ago, and we've worked together.
Was he a product of isn't the big outfit in Chicago that he's a product of, that Drew's a product of?
Mafia?
Oh, Pipeworks?
Pipeworks, right? Yeah.
So Mike helped out a lot at Pipeworks.
Were you at Pipeworks?
No. So they're really, really good friends of mine. Garrett's one of my closest friends. But never worked there. Mike was there the first day that they were unloading their first fermenters. So like he was hands-on with Pipeworks from day one.
Nice.
So there's a lot of cool people that Pipeworks helped out and nurtured, and just even if people didn't work there, the Pipeworks folks gave advice and helped, did whatever they could to all the other local breweries to help them out.
Didn't the owner of Indiana City come out of that group too?
Ray was part of Pipeworks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Nice. Very cool.
No, and there's another gentleman that borrowed some CO2 for a party of his here of late. And
Ray?
No, it wasn't Ray.
Oh.
No, Ray's got his own CO2. I know
what?
Ray can take care of himself. He worked at. He seemed to have worked everywhere, and one of the places that he's worked was at Goose Island. So the new brewmaster at Metazoa came from Goose Island.
John Hall.
So John Hall, right? And there's this other guy. Now, he came in. He's from the area. Oh my gosh, I gotta think of his name. But he borrowed a CO2 tank, and he was like, "Oh no, I'm the guy that came up with 312." And I was working at Pipeworks and came up with the recipe for the pale ale. Maybe it was Pipeworks. Maybe it's Spiteful. And he came up with Daisy Cutter, wherever Daisy Cutter is from.
Daisy Cutter. I've heard that.
Okay.
I don't think I've had
And he's
that.
like, "Oh yeah, that was mine."
Yeah.
And I got to take it with a grain of salt. He's telling me this, and generally in this industry, most of these people are pretty legit. But there's a lot I think in the Indiana culture that has come from Chicagoland, definitely Drew Fox. I love Drew. What he has done for Northwest Indiana is incredible. Now he's moved down to Indy. I love what Drew's doing. Again, that Drew introduced me to Mike. So there's a lot from Chicagoland that lends itself to Indiana, especially with John Hall. I've got a bunch of Metazoa is probably one of the better selling beers that I carry here through distribution.
And here's the small world of that. Drew Fox was texting me a bunch of stupid shit last night that I was laughing at. He was sending me stupid videos. Like the whole beer community, like everybody knows everybody, and everyone's friends.
It's small, it's incestuous, and again, like that's how this is. We were just talking about it. This is the first time that I've actually met Steve in person.
But you've been talking for a while and collaborating already about doing
We've been
something
talking,
together. Yeah, that's cool.
And our buddies Josh Hambright. I think you guys know Josh.
For all you knew, Steve could have been a chick.
It could have
Could have been.
And we've been talking a lot, and we look at Facebook says like your mutual friends and stuff, and they're all brewer friends that we have, and I see he's hanging out up here, and Hambright. I think the first time that I saw Steve's name was Josh Hambright was like, oh, he vacations up this area. You should go to Copacetic because it's in Monticello area.
Who vacations in Indiana? Come on, man.
People in Chicago, I guess, man. Where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
Isn't that cool, though? Like on Facebook, I get either friend request. I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then like, oh, it's Sean, friends with Sean Manahan, John Mullins. Oh, okay. You don't even think about it. You just, beer community.
Yeah.
You got it.
Boom.
Good deal.
Selfie. I'm going to send that to Drew. Just to, maybe that gets me in line for his next, like, rare whiskey or whatever. Drew's been incredibly successful. I love seeing what they're doing.
So, Steve, what's, Doug, you had, what are some of the beers you've been working on lately or that you've, or now that things are a little relaxed and things are opening back up again?
Lately, our most recent releases, so we can a shitload of beer.
Oh, you do?
And a lot of different beers. So we've got our core brands. We've got 16 beers on tap all the time in our tap room. But throughout a given year, I'd say we brew 40 different beers. Just like everybody else, we decided to get on the super sweet, super bullshit train.
That's brewer talk, baby. Yeah, I know exactly what he's talking about.
So a couple weeks ago, we released the first of a couple in two different series. We did Stratus is our flagship hazy double IPA.
Sure.
It's our fastest selling beer every time we brew it. So we decided to take Stratus, turn that into orange cream Stratus. So we added lactose, but the cool word for that is milk sugar.
Yeah. Fancy word is lactose.
And orange and vanilla.
Yeah.
And it tastes like a dreamsicle.
Yeah.
And then also started a pastry sour series called Forklift Training. So the first of that we did is cherry cheesecake pastry sour. It's 8.5%, but it drinks like it's 4.
Do you have a separate souring facility, or are you just keeping it real careful?
No, with lactobacillus, we're not really.
You're doing okay. All right.
However, we do have. I think we have 16 or 20 puncheons and another 30 to 40 wild sour barrels.
Oh wow! Okay.
That are. They're not in a separate facility, but they're isolated pretty far away from all the other barrel.
Okay, yeah, all right.
And
it's always a question we check with.
And we have a completely different sour packaging line, a sour tank that we use.
I always like to ask because there were a few that popped up here and there. Were like, we were in and seen a couple of them, and you're just like, oh yeah, that's going to be a sour.
There's my stout, and there's my sour behind you. Like what?
You're brewing stout and sour in the same kettle? What?
With the pastry sour stuff, it's not really a concern using lactobacillus because we're getting it to pasteurization temperature after lacto anyway.
Yeah. All right, awesome. Yeah, that's great. I always like that. So I interrupted on your.
He threw down.
So those are some of the trendy new beers.
And, so what's Hailstorm? What got them on the map? What got you guys? There's some couple of big beers in the beginning days.
I'd say the biggest thing that brought us the most attention recently is 2017. We won gold at Great American Beer Fest for IPA.
Nice.
Oh, really?
So that's the Stratus.
Prairie Madness.
Oh,
Prairie Madness.
That's our flagship old school IPA.
Nice.
It's got a lot of malt character to it, which apparently no IPAs have anymore.
Ours does. Ours does.
It's gone.
I really want.
Ours does. Back in the back there, we put malt in that motherfucker.
I'm very much a fan of that. So like a beer that doesn't taste like juice would be quite nice right now. So that, and then also early on, we started doing monthly barrel age releases. So we have a fairly large barrel age program, and we would release approximately 1,200 bombers of a different barrel age variant every month. So,
are those beer guns?
What's that?
Are those beer guns?
No. We have a bottling line for that.
I mean, I'm looking at some of your lists too. Sorry, go ahead.
I didn't know if you guys are getting certain using distillers for your barrels, or just from all over. Or you guys?
We're pretty. We found that we really like using Buffalo Trace barrels.
Oh, really? Okay.
Consistency out of that. So the broker that we use for them, we're getting our barrels 3 days after they've been dumped, and then we're filling them immediately. So we don't have to deal with swelling barrels, steaming
That's
barrels
awesome.
at all. And we've liked the product that we're getting out of there. So most of them are Buffalo Trace Mash No. 1, which I've been a really big fan of.
Nice.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at some of your beer lists. You seem to lean a lot, or heavy towards the German styles, because you're lagering and stuff, right? I saw.
Yeah.
You've got Pilsners. You've got a Dunkel. You've got you guys like to lean heavy on the German styles, and just is that kind of where your core lies, or at least your training even too? But
our co-founder Brandon. He's been to Germany, Oktoberfest. He loves German lagers, and so that's a big thing that we like to do. And it's in our tap room. They sell fantastically. Like it's amazing seeing that we've got 16 beers on tap, including like 10 hype beers, but the fastest selling beer is like a German Pilsner.
Sure.
And
that's beautiful.
It's pretty cool.
That's a good thing.
That speaks a lot to your customer base. The Pilsner is selling better than the hypes,
and so it's kind of a fun balancing act. Like we do love brewing those crazy out there beers, like dreamsicle type beers and pastry sours. But the beers that like me and Brandon like to drink are those German lagers. So it's kind of you offset stuff, and then also the people in our tap room, when they're ordering 2-to-1 a German lager over a hazy IPA, like it works great.
That's
so
awesome.
The only difference with that is we just can a little bit less of the lagers than we do the hazies, and we're able to do that because we can fly through so much draft that it works out.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Spectacular. I like the German. I lean towards all German style to the German style.
I love German beers.
We have a Dortmunder in the tank right now. Dortmunder is my favorite lager that we brew.
That's a Roro.
Right? The Rogan beer.
Rogan beer.
German beer that's not. And kind of what he's saying is you don't see it that often.
No.
And so seeing a Rogan beer on tap, for me as a drinker, I'm gonna try to go after the Rogan beer before I try the hype.
Right. Sure. Even Dunkel's been just a recent resurgence in the last couple of years. Primeval does a spectacular Rauch beer, which I love. I love those Rauch beer. I love a Rauch beer.
Speaking of Rauch beer, when Dovetail in Chicago opened a couple years ago, they opened their tap room, and they're a lager-only brewery.
Oh, really?
Like old copper kettle, horizontal tanks. Like they're doing lagers the right way. And when they opened their tap room, they had 2 beers on tap. Lager and Rauch beer, and that's just what they're called. It's just called lager and Rauch beer. And looking around the room, I'm looking and I'm seeing like 70% of the glasses are dark. So it's like, wait a minute, all these people are actually drinking a smoked beer. That's insane.
Yeah.
But
that was our intent today.
We were planning towards a smoked beer, but a Rauch beer style. But
we'll do that one another time.
We'll get there.
Like it was astonishing to me that like so many people appreciated the style, and Dovetail does it really, really well. So it was cool to see, like, you don't have to brew these crazy hype beers all the time. You can just brew a well-made beer, and people will come.
Yep. And a German style that they don't get a lot of, you know. And like, now, rye beer can't drink a ton of them, depending on how smoky it is, because you'll burn your tongue, you burn your taste buds out after a while on that smoke. But
I'll take down a half liter and move on.
Yeah, no problem. But it's awesome to have it.
Totally German.
We did our show.
When, like we look at rock beers in themselves, and you can drink a little bit here and there, but what I really like about the smoky beers that we turn out is the smoke malt is coming here locally, and that facilitates a lot of what Copacetic is trying to do, and using these local ingredients, so to have these local smoke malts and put a heavy percentage in them to accomplish rock beer level stuff, or smoky stouts, smoky whatever we want to put out.
So and going along those lines, you're talking about more the Indiana. Not only can you get great beer at Copacetic, but you have a great bourbon line as well, and you try to stick to. Are you still doing the same Indiana?
It's all
bourbon,
Indiana,
all Indiana
all
bourbons,
Indiana.
and you're doing everything, right? Gins, and you got
everything.
And,
we got your poison.
I'm a big bourbon lover,
all
so
comes from Indiana.
I thought it was cool. I don't know of any other place that's just doing the strictly Indiana bourbons.
Steve, do you guys do strictly beer, or you liquor and food and all that?
We're
the Hailstorm.
Food and beer. So our license. Licensing is different from state to state. The license that we have allows us to sell our own beer, hard cider. We can sell guest drafts.
You have. I was going to ask. Do you have a guest tap license so that you can have guest taps?
We do. We don't utilize it very often. About the only time that we do anything guest is when it's a collaboration that we brewed at someone else's brewery, so that we can bring that beer in.
Sure. That makes sense. All right.
But we do have a kitchen. It's pretty limited. We'd like to keep it really simple.
Sure.
So our chef does 5 to 6 different items a week. It changes every week. Last week or 2 weeks ago, he did smoked ribs, this Thai toast that was incredible. There's always like a meat like a meat option, a sandwich, a panini, a flatbread, and then like a vegan or a vegetarian option.
Nice.
And I've never been a fan of the vegan or vegetarian option ever until like 2 weeks ago. He did this Thai peanut toast. I was like, all right, I'll actually eat that. It was really, really good.
Was it with jelly?
Vegan jelly.
But to finally answer your question, no, we don't have any liquor.
But they have vegan food.
But they have vegan food.
Hop Station's got a
Vegans
really
don't
good
drink anyways.
vegan taco. It's awesome.
Hop
Station? Yeah.
Vegan taco?
Oh, yeah, me and
That
Jeremy.
just sounds completely
nicely.
pointless.
Oh, no. It was,
Yeah, I know
I'll tell you what.
exactly.
I don't even know what.
What's
I was
replacing the meat?
Yeah.
I'm telling you. I think it was tofu, I think.
feelings?
I'm not really sure, but I don't remember now. I just remember.
Squash.
It's got meaty
It
feelings.
was so good. Jeremy had a bite of mine. He was like, "Holy shit, that's amazing!" Jeremy ended up ordering another order. It was that damn good. It
What's
was
funny
amazing.
is they're probably lying. It's just
it was
meat.
steak. Yeah.
It's
all vegetables but cooked in bacon grease.
It's impossible steak, you know.
I've actually been pretty shocked. There's a buddy of mine, Joe. He works for Alarmist Brewing on the north side of Chicago, who they got gold for hazy IPA at GABF a year or two ago. Anywho, he's vegan, and like I would mock him a lot. Like I like to eat this slab of ribs or this brisket, and so he just started this blog. It's called Drag Through the Garden, and it's I thought, like, well, to eat vegan or vegetarian, like, all right, well, dice up my tofu, and here we go. And, like, the recipes he's putting out, like, wait a minute, I would actually eat that. You know, I'm still gonna eat brisket after that.
Still gonna have
That's what I was going to ask next. Is it I'll eat that, but then I want a steak
It's
after.
a great appetizer.
Some of these things look really damn good.
Can I get bacon on that, please?
And so, kind of on the topic of GABF, we were going to have Josh Miller from Backstep out in Crawfordsville come and
Josh.
join us. And he was too busy, specifically brewing a beer for GABF. Are you sending some stuff to GABF in this new GABF concept?
We have submitted 10 beers to GABF.
10 beers?
10 beers. Holy shit.
So this is the biggest competition
You couldn't get 11 done in time?
Well, so normally competition beers, you're limited to, say, they send out a survey to see how many people would send in how many beers, and every year then they take that information and decide how many beers they can
and how many judges they need so they don't all die.
Usually it's like 4 to 5, but this year, because they're not holding the festival, it was, and we submitted the survey saying we'll submit over 20, like, and
they're like, no.
They came back from the survey across the Brewers Association and stuff that said that, okay, you can submit 10 entries. So we submitted 10 entries. I think 5 of them are lagers, some hazy stuff, and then we've got 2 beers that have won medals at GABF, so those will be entered again.
I said old school and hype.
Wait, you already won off of them. You don't got to enter them again and just
gotta win again. Gotta make sure it wasn't a
well,
win.
it's just cheating.
It is weird. Like, so
let somebody else win.
But some of the styles that you enter, even if you win, it really doesn't make a difference. Like, so our Maybach has medaled twice, and our sales of our Maybach had stayed the exact same. So it's a great beer, but it's one of those things.
It's a medal
like
to put up on the mantle.
Yeah, it's congrats, you won ESB, but you're not selling more ESB tomorrow because you got this medal. So, but I think it would be really, really cool to win something like American Lager. We went pretty far in the rounds last year for Hotel Life, our American Lager. So I'd like to see that.
Hotel Life?
Yeah.
It's a good name.
It's named after a friend of ours that lives in a hotel that drinks a lot of High Life.
I'm guessing this isn't the kind of hotel like I normally stay in when I'm out
No,
traveling.
it's actually a very nice hotel. It's a weird story. A buddy of ours was getting divorced, and he moved into a hotel for like a month, and then he's been there for 2 years. And he
loves it. How do you afford that? Because I can barely afford to stay at a hotel usually for the fucking weekend.
Well, you got your whole new house.
Yeah.
They give you discount rates for longer stays.
I guess I had this Chicago noir picture of
Super
like an old sign that letters are missing, and it's the old
just one letter's like blinking.
Yeah, Blues Brothers, kind of. Got this guy stays in a hotel. Yeah. You got my cheese whiz, boy.
Well, when we first canned this beer, because we brewed it on draft the first time, so keg only, and then we decided, holy shit, like everyone likes this, we need to can this. So texted him like, hey man, we're gonna put your face on our can. His response was, I'd really prefer you not do
that. So that's
that was a statement and not a question.
Yeah. So
what went on the can? Like at least take a picture like his motel bed or something with.
I'll pull up a picture so the people listening can't see it. It's like an old school motel sign with like a and it says like magic fingers and stuff.
So it's kind of what we were picturing,
like what I was picturing.
He just stays in something a lot nicer.
It's one of those hotels where you're dropping the quarters in the bed. Is that what you're telling me?
Oh yeah, that was the whole point. So it even says on the sign.
Is Hailstorm available outside of Illinois, Chicagoland? Can I get it at Benny's?
You can get it in every Benny's in Illinois.
Okay. What's a Benny's?
That's our
Benny's is the shit, man. Like, and every time you go, they're gonna ask you to sign up for their thing, and if you sign up for their thing, you get a little discount. I've probably got 20 Benny's cards in my house just because I keep forgetting to bring it back.
I gotta sign up again.
But Benny's is the shit.
Oh, that's perfect.
All right, yeah.
So it's like an old 80s.
It's the old Vegas sign.
Like an 80s album.
So
motel
like
sign.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a Rick Springfield cover or something.
It's got color TV.
Don't talk to strangers.
What I find hilarious is like when I started brewing, there were 35 breweries in the state. Now I think there's 150 in the state, but you look at Chicagoland area, there's
You'll have to get someone else.
150 in Chicagoland.
Yeah.
Again, we're talking about Hailstorm in Tinley Park.
Mm-hmm.
Microphone's in Tinley Park too, right?
No, Microphone is Arlington Heights. They're up by O'Hare Airport.
Some other random
Chicago
suburb, whatever it is. But you got even God, they just sold out, and we were just talking about John 312.
Oh.
You know what I'm talking about? The brewery I'm talking about that I can't think
of.
You're
talking about,
Right.
Can't remember.
John Hall or
you get these big breweries, you get these little breweries that are all in Chicagoland, and way more than Indiana has as a whole.
Really? Oh.
A lot more people.
Benny's, if you go to Chicago, go to Benny's. They're going to have everything that you want. Even, stuff from Wisconsin.
Oh, really?
I love, every time I'm in Chicago, go to Benny's.
Yes.
Yeah, I really try to support like our mom and pop accounts that we have. However, it's just really easy to tell customers, like, just go to Benny's. Like, they have it.
They got it, man. If you need anything that's available in Illinois,
go to Benny's.
They really do. So, like, and their commercials aren't bullshit. Like, if you can't find it at Benny's, you can't find it anywhere. So the odds are the beer's there.
It's going to be there.
Yeah.
Are you still only canning your 24-ounce cans, or do you?
No, that was years ago.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
No, it's a whole new outfit now.
Yeah, that was a whole different brewery years ago. That was at Slapshot.
Oh, okay. I understood.
I'd opened that in 2013.
Okay.
Closed it in 2015, so that was a long run.
That's how she goes, son. That's how.
Every podcast I'm on, I get to talk about my failures.
Sorry, bud. They're not failures. They're learning experiences, man.
Building blocks.
But no, we do 16-ounce 4-packs. 16-ounce in 4-packs mostly. We do a couple of our lagers in 16-ounce 6-packs just because we like to party.
You don't do like 800 milliliter or something like Go German?
Nah, we do. The only so we can change our canning line a little bit. We can do height differences. So we do our barrel-aged beers in 12-ounce cans, which I have a 4-pack in the truck for you of assorted stuff.
This is beautiful.
It's been very hot for a while, so drink it later.
Hey,
it's only 100 degrees out there. Well, hey, this has been incredible. Yeah, I know we have
work to do. Do we have work to do?
We have a little work to do.
Our kettle is basically empty. So this has been a great kind of tangent and definitely talking with Steve. Steve, thank you very much for coming in and chatting with the pigs.
Well, we need to get to Illinois.
I chat with the pigs all the time. We run out of shit to talk about.
Yeah.
So, but now we got Chicagoland brewer that vacation hangs out in Monticello. Thank you for everything that you've thrown in.
No doubt.
Wayne, why don't you just go ahead and say your name real quick in the microphone?
Wayne Horn.
So we got Wayne Horn here that's been here just hanging out with us.
And Wayne's Beer Adventures.
I've only piped in a couple times, but the conversation's been good for sure.
No, Wayne's
I got one
dude.
question before you go. I don't want to drag this on too long, but you said you got a wide variety of beers and stuff that you do, and you do some hype beers. Do you ever notice that you get some customers that come in for the hype beers, but then they end up liking the other stuff better, the lagers and German beers that you brew better?
Absolutely. It's kind of like the opposite. How like you would think like, okay, well this is your gateway to craft beer.
Yeah.
Like, oh, drink my Pilsner, and then you'll get slowly into my IPA. It's kind of working backwards. So it's like, come in for my milkshake whatever, and then realize that we have an American lager that's awesome.
So you're saying your milkshake brings all the boys to the yard?
It does. It does.
Yeah. So through my experiences and stuff, helping Sean out here at Copacetic and going to these festivals and stuff, I've noticed that a bunch. A lot of people, they're like, oh man, it's a strawberry watermelon milkshake IPA. That sounds delicious. But then they drink it and go, well, that's good in like a 6-ounce glass.
Sure.
But now I want a beer, and then they realize,
Pilsner.
hey,
And that's
I want a Pilsner, or I want a lager, or I want,
I need my boat beer.
We see
Exactly.
that all the time, because it's like, I love all those beers. The crazy crap that we put into beers, like, I love them. They're delicious. However, when I'm sitting at a brewery for 3 to 4 hours, I'm not drinking 6 pints of a double milkshake IPA.
Right. Exactly.
I'm gonna have one of them, and then I'm gonna move on to something lighter.
Like a
I
double
think
IPA.
it goes a long way to say,
And then I need to take a Lactaid. And then
if you can make, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but like, there's a lot of people that can make a hazy milkshake IPA because you're cutting a lot of corners. But when you start to say who makes a really good
dial
German Pilsner, that really starts to cut
difference.
down on who is making solid and sound beer.
Right, because you're throwing so much out, you can cover some stuff up, and you can confuse their palate to they're like, I don't really know how to judge this, but hey, it's okay.
Make it silky enough and creamy enough and a little sweet.
I'll say there's skills in both directions. So you can cover up a lot of stuff with putting a lot of bullshit in a beer. But what that does do is it does show ingredient selection and your dosing rates. So there are some beers that I've had that have a lot of crap in them, and it's like, well, this didn't work.
Yeah.
But so not having restraint, not being too heavy-handed with some of those things, and making sure they work out. So you can cover up the base beer could basically be anything. Like you could, like you said, you can have a lot of flaws in that beer, but you still got to figure out the right rates of your fruit, vanilla, all that stuff. So it's kind of yes and no. So you can absolutely cover up a bad beer.
I've had some, they go, oh, it's a strawberry and maple frickin' blueberry, sausage. I was like, oh, I was like, holy shit, I can taste everything in there. I don't like it, but I can taste all those flavors that they're talking about. I wouldn't drink another one of them. But it's like, wow, they actually hit it.
It's fun
I get
to try
those too. It's cool. It's like, wow, that really tastes like that.
That tastes like a pizza.
I've had it, and I'm done.
I'm gonna have another one, but it tastes like a pizza.
Give me a lager, but it's cool. I think that when people do those and do them well, it's cool to see that really, really far out there creating
stuff.
And
you can absolutely tell the ones that were like, well, this didn't work. Let's throw some more stuff in it.
Yeah, 100%. I always when I try beers from breweries that I go to, talking with friends of mine that are making beers, I like to give me your rye lager, give me your Rogan beer, give me your Hef. Let's start there.
Start simple.
Because at the end of the day, the milkshake IPA and these like really complex beers, kind of like Steve's saying, is like you can fix it down
may
the
or
road.
may not work. Yeah.
I don't want to put a brewery out there, but like let's say it's like a 3-digit number with a direction. If they are making a beer and you're like, oh my god, that tastes good, but what was the basis? I completely agree. And I guess at the end of the day, it's going to come down to the brewer. How much do I care what my lager tastes like, what my lager tastes like?
Right.
And if it is what it is, I need to add 10 pounds of fruit and do this, that, and the other.
Yep.
That's going to change things.
But that's where that's where the actual proper.
That's what happens after a industry catches on and starts doing well.
Yeah.
And you got to get some people that are brewers that are making good beer and can have fun and make this strawberry version of their IPA.
Exactly.
But if they're not doing great and the strawberry version of their IPA is the only way that people drink their IPA, it's a different thing.
To that point, we brewed I'm still embarrassed about this. Craft Brewers Conference was in Nashville 2 years ago, and we all went down there, and we were all eating hot chicken sandwiches.
No, you didn't.
And so Brandon, our co-founder and brewmaster, he fell in love with hot chicken sandwiches, and so unfortunately did Mike Palin. So we brewed a hot chicken beer. We had to drive to 2 or 3 different grocery stores to acquire enough fried chicken to put into the beer. And that's the day that I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
You just didn't want to clean up the mess afterwards.
Yeah, I'm not sure how you do anything with that in the first. It's just grease and water.
We put 50 pounds of chicken and a bunch of ghost pepper into a beer.
I agree.
Were you already drunk?
Spoiler alert, the chicken doesn't taste good when it comes out of the kettle.
You ate the chicken after the...
Now,
it's like the whole Limp Bizkit thing, hot dog water. That sounds good.
The beer was pretty decent, actually. We had to add some chicken bouillon.
Well, no. Okay. Stop right there.
You could have skipped all the chicken.
Stop right there, because if you brew a beer and we had to add chicken bouillon,
so
you didn't need
it's not beer anymore. You've just made
broth
soup.
And here's the problem. I'm very vocal in like saying, hey, if you want a beer to taste like something, just work backwards and build your beer to that. Like, if you want it to taste like a chocolate cake, don't put a chocolate cake in your beer. Like, you could work this out logically.
100%.
And then, so like, I have to preface every time I make like a Facebook post saying, quit putting Fruity Pebbles in your beer. I have to say,
What?
I put chicken in a beer, so I'm a hypocrite. However, stop putting Fruity
I was
Pebbles.
young and dumb.
I did it.
Wayne and I did not make a beer
Did you do Fruity
that
Pebbles?
used Fruity Pebbles. We did not do that. No, I'm just saying it was just for the record.
Yeah.
They're
a bunch of Fruity
I'm going to
Pebbles.
tell you right now, it was a good beer, and
It was good.
the
It was
picture
great.
Turned out
of
all
the mash
fruity in
is
color. It
beautiful.
turned out brown.
I mean, we are going to put a cheesecake in a beer.
we're gonna do
Dude,
cheesecake.
that sounds delicious.
Says
But
the
no,
guy
we're
who
gonna do
just
a-
said the guy
a
who
lemon
just said
cheesecake.
don't put a chocolate cake in your fucking
Yeah,
beer.
but-
He didn't mention
Cheesecake's okay.
cheesecake.
Well,
I'm
we
going to
can
drink the cheesecake beer, and then I'm going to have like a
we can do
IPA.
that here.
A good
just
solid
like,
IPA.
So at
Yeah, I got a
Hailstorm,
two-barrel.
I don't
That's
want to
what
put
we're
a
gonna do.
cheesecake in the beer.
So it's okay to do it here on your system.
collaborations,
So if it
on
sucks,
That's what I was telling you guys.
Yes.
It's
Because
like-
technically,
Exactly.
so like when we did the fried chicken beer, that was a microphone. So that was a microphone thing. We were just hanging out.
no, we're gonna do the key lime
Yeah.
sour.
That's
So we're
sounds
gonna
delicious.
sour it.
Yeah.
Put a bunch of key lime pies in the
Oh, yeah.
mash. and-
yeah. Well, Indiana City made a great key lime goza. They had that key lime goza. Remember
We're
back
heading down
at
that
the
route.
craft brewer
Yep.
festival,
Yeah.
where we all we had before the Madame Carroll thing last year. So yeah, that was awesome. So yeah,
We're gonna-
I
I'm
like
gonna
the
buy
key
a
lime
bunch of
sour
key
goza
lime.
area. Yeah, that's freaking awesome.
I've been pretty impressed with a lot of like the pastry sours, like the lactose sours that
Sure.
a lot of the breweries have been doing. Like
See, and him coming from a 15-barrel system to say, fuck it all, we're doing a 2-barrel batch. I'm going to buy
Pretty
like
crazy.
6 key lime pies.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it into the mash. And we're going to just fuck up. Yeah. He was totally down. I was totally
So,
down.
yeah.
And we had to like put it on. But
So,
yeah.
so
it's a little bit different. It's,
cleanup's gonna
size
suck.
scale.
Cleanup's gonna suck. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
yeah,
Cleanup-
and he's not cleaning up. So that's why he's
Right.
totally down. I'm
well,
going to clean
that's
up.
what Grayson's for.
Now I got it. Now I got a new
He has an intern, and his name's Grayson, which I just realized. So yeah, you have your own boy wonder.
I got my boy Wonder.
You got that one-arm guy too. You can just put a mop on his
Yeah, you
one
got the
hand.
one.
and
Yeah,
he
you got
can
the one-armed,
clean up anything, too.
one-handed bartender.
When did
Well,
this
hey,
happen?
hey, guys,
you
I gotta
should've
I
gotten
gotta
here
throw it out
early.
there.
I missed something.
I'm pretty sure our kettle's empty.
Okay.
Yeah, we
I
got.
also
We
want
got to
to
wrap
I
this
want to
up.
Steve. I want to thank Steve
Yes,
for coming in
yes,
and
thank you,
participating.
Steve.
His whole family's out there still. He's vacationing.
Yeah,
and
poor
all that
guys.
stuff. So I want to say thank you very
Yes,
much,
thank you,
Steve.
Steve. Thanks for
and-
coming on. Wayne,
and
thanks
thank
for
you very
joining
much.
us.
And Wayne, just
Well-
go ahead and give it to one more time.
Wayne Horn.
Wayne Horn is
Wayne's
here.
Beer
Thank you very
Adventures.
much, Wayne.
We may.
I
Well,
appreciate
we'll
that.
still be closing. I think we're going to close out one more after we finish up. Anything else we got to do?
Quick 2-minute
Quick-
one. And
I want
Quick
to say
2-minute
that
one.
shirt is fantastic.
I enjoy it.
He's been looking at your pineapples all
If you
day.
could
Hell yes.
understand this audibly,
Uh-oh.
it's beautiful.
He's been doing that. We got to get him. Yeah, we got to get this finished.
all right.
Steve, don't
All right.
let us know before you leave, because.
I'll be here for a
Count
bit.
down.
I need more
Cool.
beer.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.